Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be going through who we think Sunderland should go for this summer. And when I say we, I actually mean you, because just a few days ago on the YouTube community tab of this channel, I did ask you guys, with the transfer window opening, who would you like to see Sunderland go for realistically? And I got plenty of responses from many of you guys. I could have very easily done an Instagram poll or an Instagram question or a Q&A asking you guys what you think, or on Twitter as well, because I get a lot more sort of interaction from both Instagram and Twitter. But I thought, the YouTube community tab, it doesn't get too much love, and I think if we got, the Instagram one or the Twitter one, we'd be here absolutely all day. But we still got plenty of answers and plenty of responses, and just for those who did respond, I'm going to quickly shout you all out right now. Every single one of you. Just to show a bit of love, I'm going to shout out every single one of you. Quick time. Here we go. We have Luke Foster. We have Michael Bowers. We love Michael Bowers. Go subscribe to him. Matthew Reed. Observador Casual. We have Thane SAFC. Go subscribe to him as well. We have Archels Anonymous. We have Morgan Pickford. I know Morgan as well. Good to see you, lad. Mackham. We have CMB. We have SAFC fan Leon. We have Ian Curry. Matthew Harding. Alan Reacts. We have Derek Thompson. Millhouse Speaks. We have Man of the World. We have Reese Black Cats Worldwide. Mad Mackham 88. Jacob Aviard. Vosh's Sexy Boyfriend. Man of the World. I think we may have already said that one. Alan O'Rourke. Dortmund. Bushcraft Marco. And Cara Murphy. So thank you all guys for sending in your suggestions, and each person pretty much sent a list. A lot of them did anyway. So what I'm going to do is just go through this list, pick out a few, maybe some that I think that's an absolute no-go, some that I think is a really good suggestion or a shrewd suggestion, and some that I think is an absolute green light. So if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to see more content like this. It is a bit of a difficult point in the channel, the time of the channel, because it's sort of between the season. Not a massive amount is going on, that we haven't had an update on the takeover. There's just the odd sort of rumour here and there. Nothing is really happening. So if you do enjoy anyway, please hit the like button for me. It really, really does help. Hit the like button as much as humanly possible. Well, just once, because if you click it twice, it'll end up taking away the like. But you know what I mean. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. So we'll go for the first few ones. One shout out that I think was a really, really decent suggestion was Andreas Weimann of Bristol City. Now, do I believe that this is a realistic one? Not really, only in the sense that I do think if you have a look at his Twitter page, he's still posting regularly, sort of almost advertising Bristol City with the new kits and stuff like that. He seems to be very, very much on board with Bristol City, but he's someone who I would absolutely take on board, because he got 20 plus goals. I think it was 22 goals it was last season in the Championship. He's done it before. He's quick, he's brilliant at those runs in behind, and he's a player that I would absolutely love to see at the club. A striker, I think he could play on the wings as well. It's a fantastic suggestion, but do I think it would happen? Probably not. And of course, guys, let me know in the comments below. With every player I mention in this video, let me know if you say yes or no. Simple as that. Whether it's realistic or not, I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Michael Bowers did suggest a few, but I'll just handpick a few of them. Ben Foster, for me, I think Ben Foster is a fantastic goalkeeper for the Championship. Absolutely, you'd absolutely do a job. He's a free agent now as well, just been released from Watford. But I think he's just so focused on his sort of YouTube and his other things now. He's got his own podcast. He's constantly doing sort of promos with different brands and collabs with other YouTubers and stuff. He's got a whole other life that he's building. I think that was a huge criticism he was getting at Watford. And it'd absolutely kill me, if we got beat 3-4-0 of someone like Bristol City, and then he's making a YouTube video with just praising Bristol City and saying unlucky lads, Bristol City were amazing, and that's the kind of thing that he does. And to bring that to Sunderland, it would just feel unbelievably tin pot. And he did it at a Premier League club in Watford at the time as well, and a lot of people took the piss out of that, and I think we will become a little bit of a laughing stock. But for me, in terms of the standard of goalkeeper, yes, but would I like to see him come? I don't think I would, purely for that reason. I just don't think his focus is on football right now. Now, here's just a handful, of course, that people have suggested that I've already said in previous videos. I'll go over them. Dion Sanderson from Wolves, absolutely, I would take him every day of the week. On a permanent, I think that would be class as well, because he's only a young lad. He's quick, he reads the game really well. Definitely room for improvement, because he's only a young lad. But on a long-term deal, and we've got quite a bit of youth around our side as well, under Alex Neil, I think he'd be absolutely fantastic. Dion Sanderson. Panucci Kamara from Plymouth, another one that I have mentioned, another quite a few of you guys actually mentioned as well, and I mentioned him in another video prior to this. Big central midfield general, you know, so physical, strong. His stamina is just unlimited. We've seen it with the clashes that we've had with him, particularly the last clash between it was Matete and Kamara, which, as I mentioned, I think Kamara actually had the better of Matete before Kamara actually went off injured. But he looked absolutely fantastic, and someone just break up the play, and so solid, because we have such a lack of physicality in the middle. You know, someone who can, you know, it's not like he was poor on the ball as well. It's not just a brick shithouse that can't play football. He absolutely can, and I would take him every day of the week, although a fee would be expected. Another one, Tom Lawrence, who of course previously of Derby County, now a free agent. He's a player that I've kept my eye on over the last few years. You know, sometimes he'll go through phases. He's very, very inconsistent, but when he's on form, he's absolutely of a championship standard, and I think he could play to the levels of the championship with Sunderland as well. Because if you think, you know, we have Patrick Roberts, who he didn't look quite right at first, and then under Alex Neil slowly blossomed. You know, prior Patrick Roberts, you know, it had a few clubs where it wasn't really going well. You know, Lawrence maybe a little bit of the same when he's very inconsistent, but then to the back end of the season, Patrick Roberts looked excellent because he really got his teeth into him, did Alex Neil, and he looked fantastic. So Tom Lawrence, I would absolutely take. Another one that's been mentioned, of course, Jack Clark. I don't think we'll get him back on loan or on a permanent. Can't see it happening. But I would take him. I would absolutely take him. Of course, we had him on loan last season. And he looked good in spits and spurts towards the back end of the season, particularly the legs against Sheff Wednesday in the semi-finals. He looks absolutely phenomenal, but very inconsistent again. But if you had the option, I would absolutely take him. Nathan Broadhead, another one. I'm just trying to cover the ones that we've already mentioned on the channel already. Nathan Broadhead, yes, I would take him. I think if we manage to get him on a cheap fee, it'd be an absolute bargain. And of course, if we manage to keep him fit as well. Now, Conor Horahan, or Horahan, I always say the name wrong. He has just been released from Aston Villa, and he's someone who I mentioned on Twitter the other day. I would absolutely love to see this man. He is 100%, 1,000,000% of a championship standard at least, and he is now a free agent. I think it might just be his wages that possibly hold him back. But what a statement that would be to bring in someone like him. You know, I think he's early 30s now, but he's so good on the ball, creative. He can score goals from distance. You know, he's got a hell of a strike on him. But he's a kind of all-rounder that you want in midfield. He's so good. And Conor Horahan, I don't know what I'm saying. Some people say Horahan, some say Horahan. I would absolutely love to take him to Sunderland, or at least bring him to Sunderland, should I say. Jamal Lowe, he's someone that I actually wanted a good couple of years back. When he was at Pompey, or was it Wigan he was at? Either way, it was at one of the two, and he was definitely at Pompey anyway. And that first season in League One, straight away I said I wanted him. I absolutely wanted him. He's quick off the mark, and I don't think he's doing so good at Bournemouth at the moment. And I just think that we'd be able to get the best out of him. I would absolutely 1,000,000% take Jamal Lowe. Another one that is mentioned a couple of times is Semenyo of Bristol City as well. Of course, he did join us on loan very briefly in I think it was the first season in League One, and he didn't really get a fair crack of the whip, but he seems well within the plans of Bristol City. And to be honest, I wouldn't go near him at this point in time. I just wouldn't want him, you know. And I have noticed a theme, and it is every single summer, by the way, and this isn't me looking down on people who like this kind of thing, but there's a lot of people that every single summer, there's this huge clamour for former players, even if they did poorly, you know, or they want someone who didn't do great and they're still of age or still of a decent age, you know, like Semenyo, for example. So I kind of get that a little bit. But then there's also people who say, oh, this guy's on free now, but he played for us a decade ago, i.e. Mr. Phil Bardsley. He played for us a decade ago, and they say, oh, but he did this for us and he did that for us. Yes. Have we not learnt from Danny Graham? Have we not learnt from Jermaine Defoe? The people are still clamouring for, like, Phil Bardsley. There's other players I've seen, I think there might be a couple on this list, former Sunderland players that played for us literally a decade ago, and then they're speaking about them as if they're the same player of 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous for me, and I would not take Phil Bardsley in a million years. You know, he's played, I think it's single figures over the course of like 2 years. You know, why would he all of a sudden be good enough for a Sunderland side in the Championship? I just don't think that's right. You know, if we're going by that, why did Jermaine Defoe do so poorly? Do you know what I mean? I just think we need to learn from that. And, you know, sometimes we think we have these sort of tinted sort of lenses on when we think about former players, and our logic kind of goes out the window. Because I think of Phil Bardsley, who's 37 years old now, whatever it is, I'd rather give Huggins a go when he gets fit, or bring someone else in. You know, what's the point in getting it? Because he's probably going to get a handful of games, and I'll be on a massive wage as well. It's just pointless for me. So I just want to get that out my system as well. Someone also said that they would clone Luke O'Nien and have a dream team of Luke O'Niens. And I actually agree with that. I don't think a team of Luke O'Niens would do too badly, because you always get a 6 or 7 out of 10 performance generally from Luke O'Nien. Get that across the pitch. We're staying up in the Championship. Someone else has mentioned Dwight Gayle. For me, Dwight Gayle, purely for the Newcastle links, I wouldn't go for it. How anyone's even suggested that for me, I don't know other people have different views, but I just would not touch former Newcastle players, particularly Gayle, who did so well at Newcastle. And I know you might think, oh, well, he's class for the Championship, he'd get us up and all that kind of stuff. No, not my cup of tea, unfortunately. Absolutely not my cup of tea. Wouldn't go for that in a million years, and I don't think we'd be able to afford him anyway, in my opinion. Another that has been suggested as well is, of course, Scott Twine, who I've also mentioned. I believe that West Brom may be in for Scott Twine. It's going to be a heavy fee. Don't know whether we'd be able to get him. We'll have to see. Anyway, Callum Doyle, of course, with another one. It's just everyone's just saying all the team that were with us last season, all the loanees. Sam Greenwood is one that's been mentioned. Leeds player. The thing is with Sam Greenwood, of course, former Sunderland man. He was a young lad who actually eventually, I think he got sold to Arsenal. Then he had a year at Arsenal, and then he went to Leeds. Now, the thing is, he does actually get the occasional appearance at Leeds. Even in the Premier League, he got the occasional appearance. Very rare, but he did, and he looked really good. And he's been smashing it in the youth sides for Leeds. And then they give him a chance, and he does okay for a couple of games, and he goes back in the youth side for a while. But if we could get him, I would absolutely go for him. Quick, intelligent, has a hell of a strike on him as well as a striker. I think he could play in the wings as well as a centre forward. I would absolutely take him 100%. But I think now that Leeds, they'll be looking to reshuffle the pack, I think that Sam Greenwood will probably end up being a part of their plans. I can't see him wanting to drop down. Cole Stockton, of course, is another one that's been mentioned a handful of times. Cole Stockton, of course, he did excellent with Morecambe last year. He's coming to the back end of his 20s now. But, I think that was his only real season where he scored the numbers that he did. And don't get me wrong, it's still a great achievement. And it's in League One. Do you know what I mean? So it's a difficult one to judge, really. But I don't know. I think if we do keep Ross Stewart, we definitely need someone to be challenging him. Ross Stewart is our number one striker for me, hands down anyway. And I say that because, of course, there has been a lot of links recently and a lot of reports that Rangers, if they do lose Morelos, because I think he's run down his contract, or at least the last year or something of his contract, they're trying to poach Ross Stewart. And for me, I actually think Ross Stewart would probably go there. Rangers are a massive club, and because he's Scottish himself. I do think that if Ross Stewart, honestly, was English, he would see the future project with Sunderland. But being a Scottish lad and how massive Rangers are, playing in Europe as well, I just think that pull would be a bit too much to resist. And I wouldn't really be able to say anything. I wouldn't be able to have a pop at Ross Stewart. Not that I would, but, if he was to go. But in terms of a striker to replace Ross Stewart if he's to go, Cole Stockton definitely doesn't fit that bill. But maybe with someone like Ross Stewart, it's decent competition, but we really need some Championship standard strikers if we are to. Someone did mention as well, all of these are from one of you guys, Bellingham, not Jude Bellingham. Is it Joby Bellingham, or Job? It would be amazing if it was Jude, wouldn't it? But no, it's Jobe Bellingham. Again, let me know if it's Job or Joby. I'm really, really poor with names and pronouncing words. But yeah, he's, of course, the younger brother of Jude and currently at Birmingham as well. And little bits and pieces I've seen him, he does look like a very, very decent player. And, you've got Speakman, who, of course, did used to work at Birmingham. So maybe he would be able to get his sort of insiders in there onto Bellingham. There has been a couple of pictures of Jude Bellingham actually at Sunderland games recently. So I don't know whether that's got any link at all. But, Joe Bellingham, he's only 17, 18, I think he's 18 years of age now, central midfielder. He is so, so strong and very, very good on the ball for his age. And if he's anything like his older brother, then absolutely. And there has actually been quite a bit of rumours around him. So there is a chance that it could actually happen. But again, it is all only rumours. Now, let's keep going down the list here. Bolly Mumba, again, it's another former Sunderland player. It's all players that have generally been with us on loan or used to play for, should I say. I'd definitely take Bolly Mumba, but I don't think it's realistic in all honesty. Barry Bannon being one. And to be honest with you, I probably would take Barry Bannon because I think he's definitely a league above League One. maybe get him on a 2-year contract or something. I would absolutely take that. He's a very, very good player. You know, so I have Barry Bannon and Pritchard, who are very, very alike, in the same team. I think that could actually be class. Do you know what I mean? I would absolutely love to see that. So Barry Bannon, our 100% take. Now we'll get to the sort of last one or maybe two. We'll have a quick look. Ben Brereton was mentioned a few times, or Ben Brereton Diaz, as he is now known, striker from Blackburn. He can play on the wings as well. I would take him. Quick, decent player, and he's been in the Championship. He's got a good experience in the Championship now. I followed him for a few years, actually. And the last suggestion is actually one that I've actually thought of myself, but it would be the biggest risk. But it is Ravel Morrison. Now, Ravel Morrison, of course, he is very, very well known for being the biggest journeyman in football. He had the world at his feet. The world was his oyster at Manchester United. And, you know, he was known for his behaviour off the pitch, his attitude on it sometimes. And it basically, you go through a glimmer of you see a sort of glimmer of him and you think, that lad is absolute world class. And I mean, not even exaggerating. He is absolutely world class. And then he would disappear off the face of the earth for a very, very long time. Then he resurfaces again with an absolute bit of magic again. And after back in the Derby season, he was absolutely magic. Yes, they went down, but in the most horrible of fashions. But Morrison was absolutely pivotal in that sort of fight back, and he looked excellent, absolutely excellent. And I think I can't see Morrison staying in League One with Derby. I just can't. But it's also the Rooney factor as well. If Rooney remains and Wayne Rooney stays at Derby, he'll probably want to stay there. He'll probably want to remain there, and I absolutely get that. As an attacking player, you've got someone like Wayne Rooney to tutor you. Why would you want to go anywhere else? But I think if someone managed to tutor him properly, and yeah, he's not exactly a young lad anymore, but he's shown that he can do it in the Championship. If we could get him ticking, I'd probably take him. But, you know, heavy wages maybe. Is his attitude sorted? It's something we'd look at. But that is it, guys. There's a lot of just random names I've just thrown at you. I do apologise. It's a bit of a mess of a video. But I just thought, you know, you guys have suggested loads of players there. I've missed out a load as well. But otherwise, we're going to be here for 3/4 of an hour. And I'm not doing that. So let me know about those players that I have commented. And if there's anyone else that I haven't mentioned, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, yes or no to the ones that we have mentioned in the video. But if you've enjoyed, like and subscribe. We're just like 200 odd. Nearly just over 200 odd, away from 15,000. If you are someone who watches the videos regularly, but you just haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, please do. We are so close. It'll make my year. But anyway, if you've enjoyed, like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Take care and stay jammy.